The following program is sponsored by Tropical Acre Steakhouse.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo, and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome bay with shafafa on the side.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy New Year. If you are of the Jewish persuasion, happy 5783. And not so happy tropical storm / Hurricane Ian, depending on where you are. The kids are happy, though. They just got word, my daughter's school and along with the Broward schools. I'm not sure about Miami-Dade or Palm Beach, but no school on Wednesday for the kiddos after having Monday off. They have a split week. It's a short week, kind of like the Dolphins there. But Lubie and Defo, how are you today? I hope you're staying dry.
I'm good. Dry.
Yeah, so far so good. I mean, slight impact on the walk of life. Although, usually it's the other way around. You're clear from the cone of death in your area, and yet the local news people frantically are trying to implore you to make sure that you make all preparations nonetheless, because anything can happen. And now I just turned on, for some reason, the Weather Channel, because I'm fascinated by storms anyway.
Where is Cantori? That's the question.
Well, I mean, imagine he's on his way to Tampa. He's probably right there at the baseball park, which is also a disaster.
Stillwater yesterday.
Yeah, did you look at the map? So
they have this thing turning now all of a sudden.
Yeah, no, I'm a long time Floridian
South Florida
now.
Not out of the
What?
We're gonna get some tail end of this, and we've already been feeling it the last day. This is obviously a huge storm system where we're not getting any kind of major winds, but we're getting these drenchings and the outer bands of this thing, and we know from experience that even if you're hundreds of miles away from the center of a storm. I remember back, I forget which one it was, Ivan or something like 11, 12 years ago, where in Wellington, there was this little trailing stream that just didn't move, and it like dumped 12 inches of rain, even though it was like 400 miles away. So look, these storms are tricky. Keep an eye out on everything. And the bottom line is I'm reminded of back in my news writing days when they would actually send me to be the Jim Cantori and go to the middle of storms.
Oh, Jesus. You were
They
that
set me up
because you were in sports, and that's
No.
always the great thing about this.
This was
They
when I was in
send the
news.
sports guy out to the
Always
worst place,
send
the
okay.
worst place, like the
We know how to
storm.
survive. We know how to survive. We know how to find the free shrimp too. That's why they send the sports guys out. But no, this was when I was back writing the news column, and I believe it was 2003. Hurricane Charlie looked like it was taking a direct bead line on Tampa Bay, and everybody was freaking out up there. And I was in Tampa Bay and staying there with some friends. And of course, that storm took a jog to the south and made a direct hit on Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte area. And it looks like the tracking now of the storm looks similar, where
Coming in a little bit lower.
It's
It's
coming in
slowing
a little
outside.
bit lower. And the tricky part, especially for those of our friends across the alley in Naples and Bonita,
I don't think it's us.
if that thing keeps curving south, and then the thing could actually clip them in a big way and also clip us in a bigger way. So keep an eye on this thing, because if the track keeps shifting, a couple of days ago we thought it was heading up all the way up to the Panhandle, Clearwater, Tallahassee, and then it was Tampa Bay, and now it's looking more like that Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte area again. It's all very again, storms have a mind of their own, and as many advancements have been made in the tracking and forecasting, you just got to watch where the thing is actually going.
How much toilet paper do you have? That's the question everybody wants.
Well,
to answer.
fortunately,
how many rolls do you have on stash right
I'm
now?
Prime Day Shirley
in
went
case
crazy.
you can't get to a store, and
I'm-
did you fill up all of your cars with gas
Just
and
got
do all of that?
gas.
I'm ashamed to say that I never was a hoarder during the beginning of the pandemic, but now that my mother is living with me, and she, she was able to like bring
You have
out.
to make sure she's covered because she's less
Well,
likely to be able to improvise like
it
you might be able
I
to.
could do a count, but she actually she not snuck out, but took with her from the facility where she was living a big burlap sack filled with about 40 rolls of toilet paper.
Oh, great, man!
But
I
that's the
love that.
single ply. I can't use that stuff. I'm too
Just grab
spoiled.
it.
I need the Charmin.
Well, we didn't
And
need all of the details on that.
no, I'm
No.
gonna get you asked. So now I've got 36 that I just
But your
bought. Like,
colonoscopies and now this deep cavernous details about what's going on in your rear end. Again, no, I mean, do you have a couple of rolls? That's good. I like that she swiped the toilet paper
I'm
because
gonna say right now
I was
we're
tempted to do
plus-
that at work all the time. I always,
The-
I'd see like 10 rolls of toilet paper and think, why don't I take a few of these home?
The over under on toilet paper rolls in the Mayo household right now is 50. We've got at least 50 rolls of
you're
toilet
covered.
paper.
Well, I know
And,
where to go if I run out.
We're fine with
I'm going
that.
to come down here and wipe my butt
no,
with
and
your
when it
toilet
come-
paper.
when it comes to storm prep, I don't think we're going to be losing power here. We shouldn't see that big of a wind. This is going to be more of a rain and flood event for us. But you never know with FPL and their track record. We could actually be prepared for some outages. And then when it comes to food and drink prep, there are those who just stock up the cooler with lots of beer and have their hurricane parties. Getting a little too old for that. But we just you end up, make sure you have a bunch of the bags of ice and perishables that you could
Forget
stick
that.
into
You've
a big
got
cooler.
Grandpa's Canisius.
Oh,
Left
yeah.
over
No,
from
I've got-
whatever ceremony you didn't hold yesterday in honor of the Jewish holiday, which you took off for. So we're wondering about a lot of things here.
Now,
This
look,
has Brett Favre written all over it. It
you
really does.
can't.
You're even starting to look a little bit like Roger Stone here on the show.
Everybody has their own spirituality and ways of, celebrating or not celebrating. Me, I don't believe in purchasing tickets or scalping tickets to any religious events. So I'm just morally opposed to any religious service where you need a ticket to get into, because I've spent a good portion of my life, going to different for my job, I would be in churches and mosques and things and I don't know why the only thing I've ever heard of where you actually have to have a ticket and buy a ticket to get in is some of these synagogues on the
Disney
high
World
holidays.
and Shul, the two places.
Disney World and Shul. Now, so for that reason, I choose to celebrate the New Year in my own special way. It might include some prayers, usually involving football bets, but not so much with the but no,
you were praying as Evan Neal could block somebody last night if you were a Giant fan.
We had a beautiful family gathering yesterday, and this is the way I choose to mark the holidays: is with my mom, who, God bless her, still with us. She's going to be 90 in January, God willing, and had my brother and sister-in-law and my cousin, who just moved recently to Delray Beach, who you met, I think, at the party with Dixie.
Very lovely young lady. Yes.
Yeah, Lori. So she just moved here, invited her down. She got to see my mom. She recently lost both of her parents, and we had a lovely catered affair. Mark Freed, God bless him. We were out there last week. We had a beautiful feast, and I went in there on Sunday. I made my order. I picked up. Everything was ready on time.
You didn't expect them to comp this, I hope.
No.
Oh, okay.
It was
just because they're on
but
board with the show.
No, I mean, I pay. I always want to pay my way, especially for a beautiful big feast. And we got brisket, we got turkey, They made these side dishes special for the holiday. He did a stuffing that was beautiful. He did the mushroom barley side dish. He had kasha vanishkas. He had green beans almondine. I also picked up the simis, which is like the sweet carrots with the prunes. Not so big on the prunes, but the sweet carrots were good.
Well, especially with only 50 rolls of toilet paper. I mean, you might want to lay off the prunes there, Mayo. I do want to say this about Grandpa's. We actually influenced somebody to go there. Our good friend Lenny the Chronic, who always plays the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Good guy. Goes out and sees Lubie at his landlubber's gig. And a very nice gentleman. And a big food connoisseur, as you could tell, just by his physical appearance. And he didn't say if he loved it or not. I'm a little disappointed.
I'm guessing when they don't mention it, it means
no. He said he went there on our recommendation, and obviously he was giving it an endorsement. But he didn't ever say anywhere in this review or whatever this mention that, oh, by the way, it was the greatest stuff I ever had, which I was a little disappointed in that. Lack of reflection on the quality at Grandpa's, because it is amazing.
I'll have to follow up with him. I'll have to follow up with him with one of my Columbo investigative things. But I had no everybody who came and had our feast yesterday. We had matzo ball soups to start. My mom proclaimed the matzo balls excellent, fluffy, and we got the main course is the brisket. Clive, who's one of the managers there, he had it in this big, nice foil thing, and he said, "Just stick it in the oven, 350 for 20 minutes. It'll heat it up. It won't overcook out. Beautiful, juicy brisket. There's nothing better than that. The chopped liver was great. We got those collars, the round collars for the holiday. I'm giving nothing but
If people doubted
kudos.
you were Jewish, they now are assured that you are not making that up with the last name Mayo, that it was Mayo. It's at one time.
Myaskovsky.
Yeah,
Myaskovsky.
something like
Myaskovsky. Let me have it
that.
one more time. Myaskovsky.
Did you do any other
And-
dining over the weekend?
No.
Mike
Wait,
Mayo?
I'm going to get to that. But
Yeah.
I'm going to do some eating on the air today because I know how much
Oh, geez. All right.
you appreciate this. So
Not the knishes. 'cause
besides
that'll
having
make
the
us,
knishes,
jealous. Yeah.
the knishes, we had so many side dishes. The knishes ended up being overkill. I had them ready to go,
you
but I
ditched
ended
the
up giving.
knish?
I made doggy bags for all the guests. So my brother and my cousin, they all got leftovers to go, including knishes. But I still got a nice potato
You
knish.
could have
half-
door dashed a couple over to me. I mean, what's
half
wrong with you,
I
man?
got half a kasha knish, a little bit of that spinach feta knish. Those are still in the fridge. My mom is going to be having leftovers today, but look what I've got for eating on air consumption today, because it's not a lunchbox without
No.
me unhinging my jaw and stuffing my face. But what is the favorite thing for the Jewish holidays, the dessert of a lifetime, the subject of a Seinfeld episode? It is the chocolate
What
babka.
is that?
Yeah,
Babka.
Great.
Oh, all right.
You don't know babka?
It doesn't look like much on this little mini computer camera you have there.
All right. Well, this is a giant heaping size. I have a whole
where'd you get
loaf
that?
of
Is that
babka.
also Grandpa's?
Grandpa's, but they brought it in. It was
All right.
somebody else that baked it. It was a packaged deal. But I love you know what babka is? It's like a kind of a pound cake, but it's layered with rich, flaky chocolate. And this thing, I cut myself about a 2-inch square here. Do you see
That's
the
a
2-inch?
piece thick enough that you could go through the entire
And
week,
here we go.
I think, with just
Here
that.
we go. Here
All
we
right, there you
go.
go. So Mike Mayo proving his
Mm.
Jewishness to the Let's Eat South Florida audience. Curious to see if he ate anything else other than this Rosh Hashanah meal over the weekend. And there were a million dining experiences to explain, and he's feeding his face with this stuff.
Oh, it's like peanut butter. It
right.
gets stuck in my mouth. I need
Very
some
nice.
butter.
You want to see the greatest use of peanut butter ever? It's right here in this little piece, which I got sucked into buying when I was in Publix the other day. The chocolate infused peanut butter pretzel. I mean, the peanut butter infused pretzel.
Mm-hmm.
Very addicting and very bad for you, by the way. I mean, a
I can
handful of
imagine.
these is like, eating a giant meal somewhere else in terms of caloric overload. But nonetheless, very, very. Who invented these? Because they purely, were coming from a position of evil.
I'm not a big peanut
Did
butter
Bin Laden
fan.
invent these? Bin Laden, was he trying to, do
Possibly
away with society?
a way to kind of give half the population heart disease. But
My God,
I'm not a big peanut butter stuffed pretzel fan, believe it or not. I'm
Well,
a
that's a
fan of
surprise.
Reese's peanut butter cups because I do love chocolate and I do love chocolate babka. And there's nothing better, by the way. I mean, some people have their babka with milk, but just black coffee with babka is that's a great combo.
You really do eat like you're in prison. Like some Hell's Angel brought this in, and gave you this stuff. Said, here it is. Pulled it out of one of his body cavities, and then then you only had black coffee in a tin cup available. It's great.
He just eats
I'll
like
give you one. Go ahead, Lubie.
he just eats like it's his last meal. Like my mom was actually
Yes.
doing what you do, and was like, when he grabs a sandwich, that's definitely not. It's more than enough for one person, so you would want to slice it so you don't waste it. But the fact that he grabs it because it is the most disgusting to eat it this way.
Yes.
Better on video. My mom's like, it's so gross when he does that. I can't believe. I'm like, yeah, that's
Hard to believe it's a refined food critic that was writing in all these sophisticated, foodie vernacular terms about some restaurant. We arrived at 8:15, and it seemed a bit pretentious. That's usually the opening line. And he's talking about going to get a hot dog at some place, but but it's hard to believe that. I actually, it was great though, because Mike Mayo becoming legendary for this tactic. And, a good story, actually. And we're going to be there on Friday, Wicked Cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
And, I stopped in there because I saw the recommendations on Let's Eat South Florida. And I tend to follow, not that I'm like a guy that follows the crowd, but as I've told you many times, when I see the fetching about a place, I tend to go with the majority. And almost everything I'd seen about this place was great. So
Right.
ended
And I
up
think
driving by there arbitrarily, stopped in. It turned out to be everything that the people, said it was going to be. But when
What
I
did
was
you get?
talking with,
What
well,
did you?
I had a bunch of different stuff there, but
There's
they
a
have
bunch of
so much
stuff.
variety. It'd be hard to try it
Oh,
all
it's
until we get there on Friday. But I had a cheesesteak, classic cheesesteak, provolone cheese, not the whiz. We had some wings, which were excellent, and the Mustang had a chicken parm sandwich because they also have like an Italian side of the menu there, including a lot of lobster dishes. But I ended up talking to the owner for a while, and and the story goes, I told this on the other show yesterday that I said something. He asked me who I liked in a Dolphin game. I said I like the Dolphins with the points, and he said you're. And then Mustang chimed right in because the guy was struggling, to come up with a name. And he says, "Yeah, that's Defo." Figuring he was going to say, "Wow, I listened to you do sports for years and years." And what does he say? He says, "Yeah, you're on that show with Mike Mayo." All right, so I'm like 40 years down here, radio, TV, done it just about everything, national television, international broadcast. I'm only known for this show, and what does he say next? He says, "I love when Mayo dives into those sandwiches, man. Man, that cat can eat." And he's waiting for your review, so we'll be there.
So
Friday.
yeah, I'm looking forward to getting it because Wicked Cheesesteaks is one of those places that I've driven by now a number of times on North Federal Highway. There, it's Lauderdale, right? It's
Yeah.
just before you get into Pompano.
Just south of Commercial Boulevard.
Yeah,
in, Fort
and I
Lauderdale.
think Brian Z is
On
the
Federal.
owner. Brian is the
Brian,
owner.
excellent
Yeah.
gentleman, nice guy,
He's been a member of Let's Eat South Florida, and
big fan.
and it's one of those places that I've been meaning to get into, and I just haven't gotten in there yet. And so it is quite fortuitous that you happen to stumble in there on Saturday. I hear they have a really good lobster roll too.
Lobster
A bunch of
Lobster
members-
rolls and
Even,
lobster products, a bunch of different stuff. Not products, but I mean a lot of different things with lobster. Lobster mac and cheese happens to be a personal favorite of mine. I might try that when we go out there on
So
Friday.
that's
And pizzas,
so we
they made a very nice looking pizza also.
They do a
okay.
bunch of
That's
stuff. The place is really good.
I'm
We've had it
open to variety, but with a name like Wicked Cheesesteaks. First of all, Wicked is usually a Boston expression. Don't usually hear it with Philadelphia.
That's the
brought up.
lobster.
Yeah.
They're actually Boston.
Ah, okay.
They do
There you go.
Cheesesteaks Wicked Lobster. Like they actually
Right.
consider themselves two in one. So that's
Yeah.
where the word comes from.
That's where okay.
Good spot. Very
I get it
sincere
now.
people. Quality
I'm
job.
very, very excited to go check it out as part of our traveling circus, and it's
People fear
that
though they won't be able to put enough food on the table to satisfy you at that one sitting.
That's so
there's-
That was
there's no
Brian's
need.
big fear. He says, "Well, if you're bringing Mayo, how much? I'm going to take a beating on this. How much do I need to put out?" I said, "Well, no, he was not inclined to be like that at all. I would imagine it's going to be a very festive
No,
occasion.
and it's
all the
going to
way
be a
around.
huge end of the week. Look, we've got a little bit of sloppy, soggy conditions these next few days. I thought
Sloppy
we were gonna
track
be-
out there for the even keel on
track.
Thursday. You think?
Well, originally I thought we were going to be there Wednesday because of the weather. We're going to push it back till Thursday. Brad will be there, and looking forward to that. Hopefully, it'll be clearing and dry, and we're going to talk about lobster rolls. That's a great lobster roll, dunked in that.
He has a great one, no doubt about it.
What was that? The Fresno chili lime butter.
And what was
they
that going
dunk
for?
it
Like
in.
$18, as opposed to like I've seen some horrifying prices.
Ooh, No, I think they've dropped it now. I think they're in the 28, 29 range. I mean,
Oh, yeah?
lobster has come
Okay.
down, but there are some places where the lobster roll is in the 36. It's one of those market price products. That lobster, you expect that, right? Because lobster has
Market
always been
price?
the MP. That's the
I'd like to get a hint though, like give me a ballpark figure at
Yeah.
least. Like
Well, lobster,
is it
you-
going to be $20 to $30? Is it going to be?
Well, that's a
No,
good. That's
you-
actually a
whatever.
good
You ask.
question.
You
Devo brought
ask.
this up this morning. Are you a schnorr tacky? Like when you see MP,
It's not snort.
is
It's,
it bad
it's
to ask?
just
'Cause I always ask. I don't.
By the way, what is the market price? That's
I feel like that's bad. Like I'm
it's
sorry.
whatever the market is willing to bear.
Thank you.
Man,
but
I
but
love
so
this chocolate popcorn.
some people imply that the servers should have no obligation to mention this, which I do like this. Okay, a server comes over to your table at a sort of higher end restaurant, but I mean not necessarily one that you're paying like $250 for an entree or something, but a decent restaurant. And they mention the specials to you. I always like it, and these are off the menu. When the waiter or the server, if it's a waitress, whatever, mentions the price. Okay,
They
so they
should.
say, "I have the codfish, whatever, and
Right,
that's
and that's
$39.95." Yeah,
Right.
right.
First of all, I don't like places that have the 95 at the end because to me, that's just like cheap marketing. It's like just make it a round even number. That's a unrelated spiel, but to your point, Absolutely. I think training servers when they're reciting the specials, it doesn't really take much effort to just throw in the price at the end.
Yeah,
And we
because
have
it's
the
not on
bone
the
in.
menu, and there's
Yeah.
no other way to tell.
We have the bone-in veal chop tonight. It's served with a lovely risotto. That's
There you go.
$42. We have the
Yep,
fresh Alaskan halibut is going for $39. That's it. When they don't do that, I think it absolutely behooves the customer, unless they are a descendant of Wayne Heisinger or
I don't
other
even care.
billionaires. No, if you
I
don't
don't.
care about the price, then don't ask. But
But you don't want to
people
be
like me
shocked,
and you,
and find out that you ordered a special and it was like
no, no,
60
no.
bucks,
What I'm
and you were
saying,
ready to
Defo,
pay like 40.
listen to me. I say it behooves the customer to ask about what the cost is if they don't mention the price when they're reciting the specials. It's not gauche to ask. It's not shameful. People should just do it and don't be embarrassed. I don't know why people are so like timid when they're at these restaurants. They're
Yep.
timid. They don't want to complain. They don't want to call a manager if something's wrong. They don't want to let them know that anything is wrong. They're not mind readers when something goes wrong, and they're not, and if they're not mentioning the price when they're listing a special, then just say, and how much is that lovely item
Hey,
going
Joe,
for
how
tonight?
much? Huh?
Right. So you got me going. I don't even know why I'm ripping your face.
You
I'll
start
probably just-
fetching about everything. It's amazing. I did have a question for you, though, and this pertains to Sunday and watching football, which I've now
can I
made a
eat
decision.
more babka now? And
Yeah,
do
go
you
ahead.
see
Stuff that in your face,
the,
because
the,
give
do
us
you
a
see
chance
these
to
lovely
establish this.
chocolate ribbons? I know I don't have the best camera.
Nobody
I think
cares that you're picking your teeth with this chocolate cake. I mean,
it's so good.
you
remember
took the
let-
day off yesterday, and I think you've lost the concept here that it's about the audience. It's not about you.
Let me give you a question, because going
Yeah.
off on a tangent is what was your favorite like Drake's cake or after school snack? Let's say I remember getting home like when elementary school was over, or
I think the ring ding might have been it.
I would
yeah,
like some cake rolls.
ring dings and
Malamar
yodels.
cookies, though, do they count? Malamar cookies in
Yes,
the double
my
box.
dad-
They were great. Yeah.
Everyone
My
loves
dad, rest in peace, loved.
They've come back,
Malamars.
but they now make them so small. They're not, it's not the same experience, because you could eat the Malamar in stages, and each one was equally tempting and delicious. You could eat the cake first off the bottom, and then you still had a chocolate covered marshmallow ball.
Mhm.
And now you could also go as far as to pick the chocolate off of that, stage 2, and then just eat the rest of the filling. But they had actually at the cheesesteak place, they had the wicked cheesesteaks. They had the moon pies, the original moon
pies are good.
pies, and they were humongous. I was actually, before I met the owner and realized he was a fan of the show, I almost pocketed one.
Is
'Cause,
moon pie?
yeah, they had them sitting out on a counter, and that they really look great.
Did that start in a particular area, region? Is it a Philly thing or
That might be a
Pennsylvania
Boston thing too. I don't know.
Boston
Is it?
thing?
Well, considering Lubie's correct diagnosis there, that this is kind of a Boston deal there at Wicked Cheesesteak.
Yeah. Okay. Wicked.
Yeah.
So getting back to the Drake's cakes, I mean, I love the ring dings and I love the yodels. Those are my two go.
Devil dogs were cool, but
They're
they
too
were a little
cakey.
bit.
They're too
yeah, yeah.
cakey. You got to dunk
It's
it in
just
the
they're
milk
dry.
because they're
My
too
problem is
dry.
Yeah.
They're dry. But those ring dings and the
Ring dings
yodels
were
when
great, yeah.
when they're chocolate covered and they have that cream filling in the center.
Yeah.
Oh, that was.
I'll give you one. I don't know if this brand is still around. I haven't seen it in a long, long time. But and it was like a Dutch cookie called de Buchelaar. Do you remember those? De Buchelaars. They were fantastic. And it wasn't quite in that category that you're talking about. But if you were asking for like just a scrumptious dessert that came out of a box or a package, de Buchelaar cookies were the bomb.
It wasn't like wafers. Was it the cream wafers? Because I like those.
Yeah, it
too.
wasn't the cream wafer stuff. It was chocolate involved, but they were fantastic. The Buchelaar.
That's good. And what'd
Yeah.
you think of Hostess Cupcakes? I like the Hostess Cupcakes
Solid.
sometimes too.
Yeah.
Those are solid.
Kind of pedestrian there, Mr. Food Critic.
Pedestrian.
Why don't you have a Twinkie?
Pedestrians.
Yeah, right.
Well, a Twinkie has
Yeah, I love
survived nuclear war. That stuff is kind of scary. But
I
where
would
were
have
we?
to say the ring ding. I guess that they were also there was a version of the moon pie that wasn't quite the same as the one they had at Wicked Cheesesteaks that also came in a box, and they were good also. They're very, very good.
Oh,
the
you know
moon
what's
pie.
a Philly thing? Tasty cakes, because they have those at all the Wawa.
Overrated. Tasty
Yeah,
cakes. Yeah.
solid.
Really?
Overrated.
It's okay.
Wow.
Kind of stuff you get at a gas station once you get out of New York.
Meanwhile,
not exactly
I see
my cup of tea.
our fan Scott M says he saw chicken wings for market price in Spanish at a Cantonese restaurant. Wow, that's a lot of
I know, I got
things
confused.
going on there. Hey, speaking of Chinese food, you mentioned what I did this past weekend. Well, one of the new spots that I tried in Pembroke Pines on University, but it's an offshoot of a long-running established place in North Miami Beach called Dumpling King. I don't know if you've ever been there. Dumpling
Nope,
King
I've
on
not been there.
163rd. Dumpling King is famous for, wait for it, dumplings and soup dumplings.
Ooh,
You know,
there you go.
the kids
Oh,
today,
those
they
are
love
great.
it.
Those
Became
I figured
that.
pizza was their fanfare of choice. Yeah, dumpling.
Well, the soup dumplings, I don't know, became this huge internet fad, or I don't know, TikTok a couple of weeks or years ago,
Yeah.
where it's basically these Shanghai steamed dumpling where they create this dumpling that has this soup in it, and then they steam it, and the soup gets boiling hot. And I don't know, it's like a masochist delight, because how do you eat this thing? It's scald yourself. If you're supposed to poke a hole in it at the top and then eat the tip, and then let the blow on the soup after you
Too
open up the top.
complicated. Yeah.
It's very complicated. Me, I just ended up like waiting a couple of minutes. I picked it up with my chopsticks, put it in my mouth, bit down on it. It squirted everywhere, and it still burnt me. And I was like, that's it was an adventure. But this place, Dumpling King, opened up a new location in Broward, right there on the corner, or it's just near Taft and University. You know where the Capriccio
Yes.
Italian restaurant? Well,
It
it's
used to be one of my friends' favorites. In fact,
Yeah.
Johnny Jarris, who loves shenanigans, and turned me on. Well, I'd been to shenanigans, but he always loved going there. Was a big fan of Capriccio, a little old school Italian. You know,
I love
with
that
the guy
place.
coming to your
It's
table
still
and he's
there.
singing. Yeah, yeah. It
It's
was always
still
very
there.
good. No doubt about it.
So, but this is in the shopping plaza, like one to the south of it, and it's kind of an interesting plaza because it's.
What were
got,
you doing
like,
there? It
this-
sounds like more degenerate gambling at the Hard Rock on the
No,
holiday.
no.
No?
This was an expedition with my daughter. After my daughter now is a junior in high school, so she's in standardized testing prep hell. She has this, SAT prep course on Saturday mornings that she takes, and
I kind of
when
wish
she-
I had done that because I winged it as usual after staying up all
look
night.
where you are now.
Doing blow,
known
and
as
here I am today. I'm known as a sidekick on the Mayo
known
show.
as Mike Mayo's sidekick, the guy who stuffs his face with babka. That is,
Yeah, does
that's-
everything in an
nobody-
unconventional fashion, as if
nobody
there were
anticipated
nothing, no
this.
rules involved here.
No, but she got done with her course about noon, and I saw this place. Actually, the poker crew went there for a celebration on Friday for lunch, and I couldn't go there on Friday. I was busy with my El Cheapo friend, taking him to the train to get out of here to go to Portland. We ended up going to Shenanigans, which was great, but I missed the poker crew. There was Willie had another big win at the Hard Rock a couple of weeks ago, cash for 23 large.
Ooh, nice.
And Sean and our other friend, this Poker Eric and Poker Brandon, and I was invited. I couldn't make it Friday, but it put this place on the brain. They said it was pretty good. But Dumpling King, it just opened, I think, about 3 months ago in this new location. And this strip also has an Indian restaurant, a Pakistani restaurant, a Papa John's. I don't know how that got in there, but it's like one of these,
And
like,
obviously this Italian joint also, Capriccio.
well, Capriccio is in one north, so
Separate
it's in a
standing, yeah.
separate one. But this complex was interesting because that's why I love Broward, especially when you go up and down like University and 441. There's all these kind of little ethnic joints, and a lot of them are reasonable. They're not paying the Los Olas rent. And so this Dumpling King place, what I loved about it, you go in there, it's like fast casual, and you order, but they had this picture window, like there's a window where it shows this table with a pile of like the chopped up minced pork and stuff that they use for the dumplings, and these like three little old Chinese women that are just wrapping these dumplings right before your eyes behind a pane of glass. I took pictures of it. I didn't post it on the group yet. It was a little erratic, like I didn't love the soup dumplings. It was a little thick and doughy. I prefer my dumplings a little more refined and thinner, and also I got the pan fried pork dumplings, which I love, and the crispness came out perfect.
Does that
Like,
only
you know-
have is dumplings? They don't have like chicken chow mein?
No,
or
they do.
anything?
They have
No?
some rice dishes. They also
Okay.
have. It's very funny, the translation there. They have something called pig intestines, spicy pig intestines.
A pass.
It's a translation issue because I've had that dish at the they call it a hot dipping, where it's like in a little broth with noodles, and what they call pig intestines is actually pork belly. It's just pork belly.
Okay.
And
It's
it was
guts.
really
Any way you look at it, it's GUTS, a
Pork
four-letter
belly's
word.
great.
pork
And I
belly
don't
is
want any
not
part.
guts. It's
Right.
not intestine. The translation, I think, is designed to scare off all the
Yeah.
Americans, but The one I had on 163rd when I had the spicy dip pork intestines or pig intestines was absolutely delicious. They also have a bunch of different noodle dishes like sesame noodles, noodles. But
So how do you rate the
the
place?
pork,
I mean, what was the end result?
it was very reasonable, and that I liked. Oh, and they have talking about chicken wings. They do either honey glazed chicken wings or regular just fried chicken wings, but they were really good. I just got a smaller of the regular, and I put some chili oil on it. It was just 4 wings were like $8, which at this point is a good deal, or
It's
six
not
ninety
bad. It's not
five. It
terrible.
was reasonable, and
Yeah.
they were crunchy and good and big and plump. So I give the place a thumbs up.
What was the
I
name of this
wasn't
joint again? What was it
dump
called? Dumpling World?
Dumpling King,
Dumpling King. Okay. All
Dumpling
right.
King on
I always like when a
University
place
Drive.
declares itself the king of something.
Yeah, I know it's
Pastrami King on Long Island was one of those
right.
places. It was like in Merrick, and I don't know. They might have had other locations, but it was like this guy's the king, man. I mean, that would be where you would have to go.
Yeah. So they also have like I guess some shrimp dumplings and crab, seafood ones.
Nice.
But for if you're kosher or observant for Rosh Hashanah, I wouldn't be bringing a pan of the pork dumplings
Doubtfully
home.
have a
But
rabbi blessing this stuff as it comes out of the kitchen.
but my little disappointment was
Yeah.
the pork dumplings again a little bit thicker, and I like it more of a thin wrap, but the pan fried element was great. They were really crispy on one side, like that good crunch.
Did you like
What
it
I
or
didn't,
not? I'm struggling here.
I said it's a mixed review. Defo.
Okay.
Let me be
All right.
subtle here because the interior, the pork, which I saw the women, actually making, um, it didn't have the greatest flavors or seasonings. It tasted kind of bland to me,
So they could have all
and
been fired, and it would have been better.
as opposed to like I'm going to give you Christine Lee's. You know how much I love Christine Lee's down at
Well,
Gulfstream.
you have a bias there because you can bet there also.
Well, no, but the actual
It is
flavor.
good. I'm not
They
denying
do
that. It is
they
good.
do a
I like
pan
that
fried
too.
pork dumpling there that where you could taste the ginger, and they have little bits of the chive, the green onion in there, and you could taste like some other elements of the spice and the herbs and things. This one just tasted bland to me, and it was a big portion. It was like 8 big humongous pork the stir fry, whatever they call it, the pork I can't pan fried dumplings, not as opposed to the steam ones, which are much healthier but also much blander. But I think it was 8 of them for also like $8.95. Really
Oh,
good.
that's pretty reasonable.
It was
Yeah.
good value. You could stuff your face there with 2 people for about 25 bucks, which these days that's a win. So I'm giving it a qualified recommendation that I want to go back and eat more things there. But
But you
it's
wouldn't
nice
go
to
out of
have
your
it.
way to go there again. It sounds
That's
like.
basically it. My daughter did. Oh, I forgot to mention the one thing I did like a lot was a scallion pancake. They have a
All right.
scallion pancake there, and also a little bit greasy. And the other thing is
Not a
my daughter.
ringing endorsement. None of this is done as a ringing
No,
endorsement.
it wasn't.
Mayo.
It wasn't a ringing
All right.
endorsement.
So
If you're
shall
in
we
the
scratch it
neighborhood and,
off the
and you feel,
off the list.
my daughter said she wouldn't go back. She
Oh,
didn't
there you
like
go.
it.
Ooh,
That
very
was
I'm more
a,
inclined to listen to her because I mean, you
'cause I'm
describing
tap
all of the
dancing all
various
over the
ingredients.
place.
Most people just get a dumpling, they slobber it down, and not
Yeah. So
analyzing every little aspect of the spice that's involved.
see, I've become too much of a radio guy now. I'm
Yeah.
afraid to potentially alienate a potential
I was gonna say,
sponsor.
about a
So that's
sponsor.
Well, and that's part of the game here. You don't necessarily want to trash the place when it sounds to me like you had more negative things to say about it than positive. But
it was mixed. I would go in there and order certain things.
we
I
need
wanna try more
interpreters now
things.
for some of your reviews. That's the
Am I-
difference.
you think
As
I'm
you try to
putting bunches-
audibilize what you used to be able to write about.
Okay, make me
No.
give an old star rating. My old Sun Sentinel 1 to 4.
This sounds to me like 2 and a hook. You're gonna
2.5. You're exactly right. Now you've
I know your
learned-
rating system. I know your
You've
mind.
learned
now.
how to
doing this for
decode
years.
my ramblings into one neat, concise thing. 2.5. There's some things that
Okay.
are good, some things that are not
I had a
so
question
good.
for you. We need to explore that in the next segment. This has sort of become a problem because you're trying to figure out where to go on a football Sunday and what the setup should be. Now, I know we have certain places like Shenanigans. That's the natural. But, I have, it would be a little prohibitive for me to drive that far to get to a sports bar when there's like a zillion of them
This is it.
between my place and that destination or however the distance is. But what are you looking for there? I mean, one of my acid tests of any kind of sports bar is the quality and the extent they go to prepare good nachos. And I don't know what you would say, makes it qualified, but It definitely is a signature thing. Like
I saw
right away.
those nachos.
Yeah, I sent you a
sent me
picture
a
of a
picture, and you were
pretty good
where
plate
again?
of nachos. Yeah, that
Where
was
was that?
Bonefish Max.
Bonefish Max is
Now I
on.
like
It's
the
on
setup at
Federal.
Bonefish Max. Yeah, it's like Sample Road, just off of Federal Highway, a little bit east
Yeah,
of
going by
Federal
Beach.
Highway, and they have other locations too, which
Max-
normally draw a pretty solid response from the people on Let's Eat South Florida, which we know is a very discriminating audience.
Well, they give the
If the place
portions
was
are
bad,
really
you
good,
know.
Max, and the service is really good. We went up at the house. They're solid.
Yeah, they do a good job.
They do good
Conducive
fish.
to families
But
and
to me,
football
that looked
fans.
like a big pile. And look, a lot of places do the big pile. What I loved about Shenanigans, and I'm not saying this just because they're one
It's
of
kind
our
of
great
individual. Yeah,
friends,
no, it's a different
where
approach.
they each
Yeah.
nacho was assembled like you could
Yeah.
eat it with like his own slice of pizza where it had
Different
all
style.
the elements on
Yeah.
it. I love
But
that.
I'm talking about your
But if-
basic plate where you're
What?
digging in and you don't know whether to use
Yeah,
your
no,
hands,
that's good.
fork, to dig to the bottom.
Me,
there.
I wouldn't use any of it. I would just put my face. I would go.
Oh
face
yeah,
down,
you would have had a
just
face full of sour cream,
like a
or
pie
guacamole.
eating contest.
Now
and
there
you
was
know where
there was no guacamole on this, so I mean, is that a negative, or do you have to ask for that? That's the question.
avocado.
Should you
is
have to
good.
ask for guacamole on a thing of nachos if you're
To
getting
me,
like
when I order
deluxe
nachos,
model?
I want guac. I want certain things. I want the chili. I want the salsa. I want melted cheese. I want guac. I want sour cream. What else? What am I missing there?
I want it kind of like De Niro there in Casino. I want it evened out too. I don't want like
you
one
want to count
spoon
the
of
blueberries? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
one spoon of chili on one side and nothing anywhere else. In the whole
my.
base of this thing. Yeah.
Look what time it is, gents. We got to talk. We got to take a break, and we got to talk about again Tuesday, Tropical Acres Tuesday. Good night to go in there. A rainy night. You could just park right there. Very easy to get inside and stay dry. Go into the bar for happy hour at 4:30 to 6:30. Some of those great half-price drinks and specials like the coconut shrimp and the escargot and the little sliders. Tropical Acres is at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, Fort Lauderdale. And how could I forget? It's half-price wine night tonight, Monday and Tuesday. Could celebrate that the end of the second day of Rosh Hashanah with a nice half-price bottle of wine, a steak, filet mignon, prime rib, even the twin lobsters if you're not too kosher. So the twin lobster special still going on. Final weeks, $35, two of them with a side dish and a salad. Tropical Acres, we love them because they have the greatest in value, quality, and hospitality from the Studiali family. Butcher Shop is also open if you want to cook at home. I wouldn't necessarily go outside and fire up the grill, but you could do it in a nice pan sear today. Butcher Shop open every day but Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Dining room open every day from 6 p.m. on, except Sunday. They are closed. Tropical Acres, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you.
Always a great experience, great dining experience, and as you say, especially on these half-price wine nights, which really lets you get out of there with a mild ticket. All right, more to come. So you like a little bit of slop though with your nachos. You condemn that plate just off the picture, Mike Mayo. That's amazing to me. 'Cause I thought you would be attracted by that picture and think,
No,
hey,
it was a
those
nice, it
look
was
good.
a healthy,
Yeah.
it was a good, healthy pile, and I look at. Do I look like I'm afraid of sloppiness?
No, we know that. We know that. And we're going to get evidence of that, physical evidence on the show Thursday and Friday. So, all right, we'll come back with more. Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, a post-Rosh Hashanah edition for Mike Mayo. And that was interesting because you were on that Chinese restaurant that you found for like a half an hour, and then it turned out you didn't really like the place. I love that. After telling people to go,
I was in Defo rambling mode today. I'm sorry. I
see,
I thought we had a
kind of
2 hour
crazy
show.
there. Yeah. All right, coming back with more in a moment here. And what time we have left?
People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans. For 30 years, they've been doing a great job. The original location, West Side, 3303 Sheridan Street, just across from TY Park in Hollywood. And there's the East Side location, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the blackened grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late in both locations. Go there. Tell them that the Lunchbox, Mayo, and Defo sent you. From our friends at Visit Lauderdale and Lauder Deals, don't miss Dine Out Lauderdale during August and September in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Dozens of top restaurants are offering amazing 3 and 4 course meals starting at just $35. See all the Dine Out Lauderdale menus from more than 50 participating restaurants online at visitlauderdale.com/deals. More taste sensations are being added daily, so plan your culinary adventure to Greater Fort Lauderdale and get your taste of the good life for less. Dig in now at visitlauderdale.com/deals. We're back on the Lunchbox. I can't believe I'm still stuffing my face with babka. It's
Doesn't
babka
surprise
mania.
anybody. Trust me, it
I
surprises
told
nobody.
it to my mom, but you know what? She was right. You were sort of disgusting, sir, and
Yeah.
I almost am mad at myself for defending you as staunchly as I did.
No, I'm today. I'm just in a mood. It's horrible.
You're always in a
outside.
strange mood on these, like Tuesday, Wednesday editions of the show. If we're not somewhere with food in front of you,
Exactly,
you
Defo. If
become
I'm at my
a little
home,
bit bizarre on the show. I'd have to say, almost
if
bordering
I'm
on macabre.
if I'm at Casa de Mayo, if I'm not out on the road hobnobbing with the people and our listeners,
You're
and
inspired by the sight of food, though. You really are.
100%.
I'm one of those. I guess it goes back to the sports days. Like I love being in out on the road in the field.
Yeah.
And the heat of the competition and the battle and just stimuli. And here it's like another day and just kind of getting
It's
through it.
entertainment, though. You have to keep that in mind. I
Oh,
mean, the
yeah,
people
right.
that are tuning in expect you to be on your game. They
I
don't want
know.
to hear you fetching
I know,
about
they
a
don't wanna hear the-
medical procedure or any of this
Wait,
other
wait.
stuff. Yeah.
Time out. If
Yeah.
they're watching us through Let's Eat South Florida,
Yeah.
they are expecting fetching because let's face it, that group,
Yeah,
they're not complaining about something.
You
They're
have
not
to edit all
happy.
this stuff. See, I see it in an entirely different light. I tend to ignore most of the fetching, and a lot of it borders on comedy.
You're the Tony Segreto of Let's
No,
Eat.
but
You
I
just see
mean,
the
look,
positive.
I know people have complaints about restaurants. I have complaints about restaurants, but I
Let me
don't
get my
necessarily let that
rose-colored glasses for
cloud
Tony
my
Segreto.
vision like a lot of people do, because I know what my option is, and that is to not go there and patronize the place if I really don't like it.
Exactly.
And there are reasons things happen sometimes. Once in a while, something's going to come out of the kitchen slow. I don't get over encumbered with negativity about that. But what I dig about Let's Eat South Florida, which is great, just like what Wicked Cheesesteaks is, I would have never stopped there had I not read about the place on Let's Eat South Florida. I would
And
not
this-
have been
this is-
inclined to go, oh, there's a place. Let me try it, even though there are like maybe a half a dozen other places that do the same thing
100%.
within a 5-mile radius.
And this is the feedback that we get from fans of the
Yeah.
group. And again, run in conjunction with our fine friends at the Sun Sentinel. And did you see that, Defo? When you go and click on the Sun Sentinel subscribe page now, or they
$1 they want $1 for 6 months.
No, that's the $1 for 3 months.
Oh,
I got
okay.
a better deal for you because that one after that
I'm
they
not
have
getting
a
it.
higher.
I'm not getting it. I'm getting my
How's
New York
this sound?
Post, and that's it. Look at this sports section.
10
10 pages of hockey today. Hockey.
$10 for a digital subscription for an entire year, so that you could
0.0
actually
interest.
read all of. That's not the right.
But this isn't reading a
answer.
newspaper to look at
Defo.
your little phone there and
Defo.
squint.
I think
We're
that's
gonna-
a
I'm gonna
great
get-
deal, Mike Mayo. That's a wonderful deal. And I
There
think
you
he's-
go. Now he gets it.
Oh, yeah,
On
I
Let's-
understand. Yeah,
Jesus, Dave.
but I would buy the paper.
Here, let me
How much is it for the actual paper?
lend you these
Rose-colored.
rose-colored glasses, Defo.
How much is it
I
to
mean,
have it delivered?
yes.
I would be interested in that if they had a bargain on that.
You want to actually get a print edition? They have that.
I
You
would,
can get a Wednesday and Sunday print edition along with a digital subscription for a rate that's very reasonable. I think it's like $13 for the first 13 weeks, and
Yeah.
then the nominal rate after that. But I'm spewing figures off the top of my head without knowing. All I know is that that's the subscription I have. Is the
I have
Wednesday
free
and
access
Sunday
to what I
print.
want, though, which is Let's Eat South Florida. So what do I need?
Well, there you go. But we
Yeah.
want to encourage people to get and support the professional. Anyway,
Yeah.
what I was saying before I got sidetracked, and I completely forgot now, is that on Let's Eat South Florida, which is almost 90,000 people,
Nice.
In a given month, some months it was like 1,200 posts. I think the last 28
Do you
days we've
read
approved.
everything though that
Yeah, how
comes
do you
through
do
there?
it?
Do you have to
Me
read every
and
post?
Gretchen, there's a couple of other
How do you
admins.
divide that up though? It'd be
It's
impossible to
just
keep pace
whoever
with.
is on. I'm on there most of the time because I have no life.
Okay.
But I would say that I approve a great majority. I'm the one that's sifting and doing the adminning a majority of the time. But I actually did a tally one weekend because somebody was saying, "Oh, it's so negative." I was saying, "No, Facebook and their algorithms pump up and disseminate the negative posts more because
Okay.
they know
Makes sense.
that that's more
Reaction,
likely to trigger debate and
reaction.
engagement."
Yeah.
But in actuality, about 90% of the posts that come into the Let's Eat group and that we end up approving are either what we call, reviews or recommendations of a place like Wicked Cheesesteaks, or a neutral query question like my mother-in-law is coming to town. What's a nice place for brunch on the
Yep.
beach? Only 10% are those fetching, complaining posts. Yet those are the ones that by far and away get the most comments and
Yeah.
viewership because that's what Facebook thrives on. So,
Mixed bag of reviews, by the way, about Cap's Place. You know, Cap's Place, where you take the boat and you
yes.
go to this place, and it's kind of like you're in somebody's basement or something underwater. But mixed bag of reviews. I hadn't been there in a long, long time. I would have to say I tended to agree with the people that thought it was, maybe worth doing one time. I don't know. Have you been to that place, Lubie? Cap's
Can,
Place? You take
Is
the
it
boat out
Lauderdale?
there, and then you get on a little ferry boat, and they take you
Oh
out
no,
there.
I've been there. I don't
Yeah.
think so. No. Seems
believe it or
interesting.
not, I have not been there,
No.
Defo.
All
Can you
right.
believe it? That's one of those places that's on my list that's been around forever that I
I,
haven't
am
been
going to
to.
say
I'm not
it probably wouldn't be Mike Mayo's bag. That's just my guess.
would not.
Would not. I mean, it wouldn't
No, it's
be
one of
like
those
we
places
hated it or anything, but I don't think he would be
I
one
would
of
make a
those guys
face.
going back. A little bit of a
I,
face, yeah,
I
yeah.
would make a
Back to
face
face,
because it's
no
a
doubt.
touristy place.
Yeah.
It has this history and all that, blah blah blah. My friend, the Sheik Mark, who lives now in Deerfield Beach, he went there with his wife, and he said the food wasn't that bad. He actually liked a couple
Food's
of
all
things
right,
there,
but nothing amazing.
but
I mean,
it's like
considering the extent that you went to get there.
right. So the bottom line is, I should go there before forming any opinions, and
For the close, yeah.
uh, I don't think they're closing, but
Based on the reviews on Let's Eat South Florida, it
yeah, no,
won't
it's
be
one of
seeing
those.
them around here for too long.
I'd put it in the whole polarizing place category. Some of those places that people love and like the charm of it, and some people just hate it and think it's overpriced or just not worth it. Places like La Tub in Hollywood. Lubie is
did you ever
closing
get
on another
roped
deal.
into
Look at that.
did you ever get roped into going to the Bubble Room, on, the West
Oh
Coast of
yeah,
Florida?
I've been there. I actually
But
had
now
the
what did you
orange
think of that
cake,
place? Because I was
Captiva
very
Island.
disappointed,
I
in
hope
that
it's still there come
yeah.
Thursday morning because I'm a little bit fearful
Oh,
of
yeah.
what's going to happen up and down that coast and Sanibel and Captiva and some of those gorgeous things. I mean,
Still
again,
going a little north of those joints. Still going a
Feels
little
like
north
Tampa.
of the latest trend.
Whatever Mayo is
it's
saying, it feels like it's Tampa to me, which I don't want. But
Yeah.
it's not. It's too soon to say. And the last map I saw at 11 o'clock, it has it hooking in before Tampa. It has it hooking in somewhere in the Sarasota to even that Captiva Sanibel area.
All right.
And speaking of the Bubble Room,
Well,
I
there
have
goes the
been
Bubble
there.
Room.
I don't know.
Cancel my
But the
reservation.
orange cake,
Yeah.
the orange cake is what they're known for, and it's good. It's good. It's
You would go all
it's
the way
kind of
over
a
there to
no.
Sanibel Island for an orange cake, for a slice of orange cake?
I never said I'd go all the way over there, but if I happen to be in the neighborhood, I'll stop in there and have an orange
I
cake.
just remember it was one of those joints that everybody said, "Wow, you got to go to the Bubble Room. You got to go to the Bubble Room. Got to go to the Bubble Room." And I went to the Bubble Room, and it was okay. Kind of like Cap's Place. The
There
reviews
you
for
go.
Cap's Place. That was the summation that I got out of all of those
Hey, you know where you
posts
got to
on
go?
Let's Eat South Florida. Where's
Well,
that?
you've already been.
Well,
Oh,
don't
Shenanigans.
say it, Mayo. I know what you're thinking. When you put it that way, I know it
No,
can
you
only
don't
be a
have to
four-letter
go.
word
We
that's involved,
love
like
you.
straight to, as they say.
I'm a little rusty after the 4-day weekend, but
Yeah.
Shenanigans is a great place to go because it seems like there's football on every night. And for Thursday night football, if you
Great
can't-
arrangement, by the way.
I don't know.
Great
Are they
fantastic
airing it on a local station for those
33,
without
channel 33.
Channel 33.
33?
As a
Still
dog.
better to go into a friendly social setting like Shenanigans. You were mentioning places
It's
to
some
watch
atmosphere.
football,
Yeah.
and I know for those of you who aren't in the southern part of Broward, it's still worth a drive because they have some great stuff. Shenanigans, our friend Pat Utter, and they're stoked. Pat is a huge Dolphins fan.
It's a
longtime
perfect
season
setup too
ticket
for
holder.
watching football.
Yeah,
As we
he's
witnessed the other
ecstatic.
day.
He's
Yeah.
so happy that they're exciting again and that they have a coach who seems to know what he's doing, except for that last drive. But Shenanigans, 2 locations across from TY Park in Hollywood there at Sheridan and Park Road. And my local is at 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go in there, get the wings, get the burgers, get the barbecue on the east side. Go drive through, takeout window, late night dining, happy hour. I mean, actually, all day drink specials there. We love Shenanigans. Go in there and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you.
The ribs are great too. Wow, they're
Ribs are
awesome.
great.
Really good.
Ribs
That's
are
good.
great. All right, back with more with Mike Mayo, and we'll continue the Lunchbox in a moment.
You like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. And we're back on a Rosh Hashanah edition of the Lunchbox. Don't tell our rabbis, but Defo, Lubie, and I, bad Jews. We're
I
just
was
doing a
watching service
broadcast.
beforehand.
I'm a
actually.
good Jew. I just
Okay.
I
don't
was watching
do much
service.
with the holidays. Yeah, I wouldn't consider myself a bad Jew.
Oh,
I'm
no,
very
I'm-
proud of my Jewish
You know, I'm
heritage.
kidding. I'm
I am.
kidding. And
You know what? It's funny too because you're watching TV now. I have the Weather Channel on here. Just curious about the storm. And
where's Cantori?
well, you don't know if you're watching people leaving Naples or leaving Russia. Now, all they're showing people like lined up at the border, either at the
Yeah, this
state
is,
border
Language
uh,
is
or
crazy.
No, it's scary stuff, and I guess it's easy for us to kind of chuckle because we're not going to be taking the brunt of it, but we still might be getting some severe weather. So everybody keep following the National Hurricane Center's official
don't use it as an
advisories.
excuse not to do the walk of life, though, Mike Mayo, because we need
Oh,
to keep you on
I
the
can't
path.
walk in this.
Yes.
I got to bust out the kayak soon. You know, my neighborhood is prone to flooding,
that's
and I've
right.
already got a lake, and the ducks are just having a grand old time. in
So,
my
what
front
food did you
lawn.
store besides these Canisius?
I was
from
going to
Grandpa?
ask, what do
Yeah.
you
I
do?
got
What
What's
do you do?
hurricane food before we get out of
Hurricane
here?
Go to
food, and
Mayo, man.
we're running out of time, but real quickly, I would just I used to just boil a whole bunch of eggs and make a boatload of
gross.
pasta, like 2 or 3 pounds of pasta that I would just that way that stuff keeps, and you can throw it in the cooler. And boiled eggs are protein, pasta is the carbs and the energy.
Cool hand, Luke. You're like
You've got the cans. I got all kinds of
Paul Newman.
the cans of tuna fish in the pantry that you can always make. Defoe's favorite, a tuna sandwich. Make sure you have your bread and all that stuff. And again, on this end, it doesn't look like we're going to be in for the brunt of it.
We're gonna be fine.
hopefully we should be fine.
Yeah.
But for those of us who do
Luck.
have relatives and friends on the West Coast and the Gulf Coast,
Be safe.
fingers crossed for them. We hope that the storm keeps going away from them. But not good. All right, that'll do it for today. Thursday, even keel fish shack. Friday, wicked cheesesteaks. Tomorrow, I'll be back in my grumpy mode in my home Casa de Mayo. But,
I hope you cheer up by tomorrow. I really do, because you were a little down today. We don't like to hear you, sort of this, that, the other thing. We like it when you're on your game, man. Really
I
hyped
didn't
up.
mean to. It's the
Tipperary
shaking
Cup
off
tonight.
the
Come on out,
confidence.
catch some live music with JP.
I'm not going out tonight. It's pouring. That's it.
Oh,
All right.
what a wimp! My God.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to enjoy every babka and every sandwich.